Hello and welcome to another midweek message. In Exodus chapter 3, God appeared to Moses in the burning bush in the wilderness of Midian to tell him that he needed to leave the business of tending his father-in-law's sheep in the wilderness and return to the land of Egypt, where he would lead his people, the people of Israel, out of Egyptian captivity and to the promised land of Canaan. Needless to say, Moses was a little reluctant. He had fled from Egypt 40 years earlier and had spent this time working for his father-in-law, tending sheep, and it had had a humbling effect upon Moses. Moses' first objection was raised in Exodus chapter 3, beginning in verse 10, by essentially asking, God, who am I to do this great thing? After God assured Moses that he would be with him, Moses' second question was, God, who are you? When the children of Israel ask who it is that has sent me to do this great thing, to lead them out of captivity into the promised land, who am I going to tell them has sent me for this great mission? God responded in Exodus chapter 3 and verse 14 by saying, I am who I am. And he said, thus you shall say to the sons of Israel, I am has sent me to you. From this point forward, I am was recognized as the covenant name of God, the personal name of God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the children of Israel. It is synonymous with the name Yahweh, or more commonly pronounced and articulated, Jehovah. It is a statement of God's eternal nature. He is the great I am. He has no beginning and He has no end. He is eternal and infinite in nature. He is before all things and He is beyond all things. He is the self-existent one and unlimited in His character and His nature. His existence does not depend upon anyone or anything else. He is God. And as God, He is the origin of all things that we know. He is the great creator, sustainer. He is the great judge and the one who exists beyond us and beyond our scope to fully comprehend. He is the great I am. All children of Israel from that point forward revered that expression, I am, as the holy and exclusive name of God. And it was considered blasphemy to apply it to anyone or anything else. But when Jesus came on the scene, Jesus, in the book of John particularly, regularly uses the expression, I am, with regard to Himself, to express His own divine nature, to express the fact that He Himself is deity. In John chapter 1, beginning in verse 1, John speaks to the divine origin and the deity of Jesus about whom he wrote. John said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through Him, and apart from Him nothing came into being that has come into being. In Him was life. The life was the light of men. Verse 14 tells us that the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we saw His glory, glory as of the only begotten from the Father, full of grace and truth. John opens his gospel account by affirming the deity of Jesus Christ, that He is one who is God, who existed before He came in the form of flesh, but that deity dwelt among humanity, and we beheld His glory, glory as of the only begotten of the Father. One of the evidences that John provides of Jesus' deity in his gospel account are the claims of Jesus Christ. The instances when Jesus claimed to be God. Now, those claims themselves don't prove the proposition, but they do warrant the investigation. That is, they are unique enough that we ought to look at what Jesus has to say about Himself and the further evidences that He provided. One striking claim that Jesus made is found in John chapter 8. In John chapter 8, beginning in verse 51, Jesus said to those Jews who were challenging Him on that occasion, "Truly, truly, I say to you, if anyone keeps my word, he will never see death." The Jews said to Him, "Now we know that you have a demon. Abraham died, and the prophets also. And you say, if anyone keeps my word, he will never taste of death. Surely you are not greater than our father Abraham, who died. The prophets died too. Whom do you make yourself out to be?" Jesus answered, "If I glorify myself, my glory is nothing. It is my Father who glorifies me, of whom you say He is our God. And you have not come to know Him, but I know Him. And if I say that I do not know Him, I will be a liar like you. But I do know Him and keep His word. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad." So the Jews said to Him, "You are not yet 50 years old, and have you seen Abraham?" Jesus said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham was, I am." The Jews esteemed Abraham, their forefather, above all else among humanity. He was the great patriarch of the nation. He was the model of faith and righteousness to any believing Jew. And here Jesus says that He was even beyond Abraham. Before Abraham was, Jesus said, I am. Jesus used the covenant name of God, the title of self-existence, of eternal nature, the personal name of God Himself, and applied it to Himself, saying, in essence, that He existed before Abraham, and existed beyond him even after Abraham had died. That Abraham himself was looking forward to the coming of Jesus, even though Abraham had been dead for some 2,000 years at that point. The Jews understood the claim that Jesus was making to deity, because in the last verse of John chapter 8, they picked up stones to stone Him. Even though they were wrong in their understanding, even though they were wrong about the identity of Jesus, they understood what Jesus was saying. They understood His claim to deity and were prepared to stone Him for blasphemy. Their conclusion was wrong, but they understood what Jesus meant to say. Jesus is God. He's not merely some great moral teacher who came on the scene some 2,000 years ago. He's not merely a created being that God sent to serve a specific purpose for a specific time. As my friend used to say, He is either Lord, a lunatic, or a liar. That is, either Jesus is who he claimed to be as the Son of God, Deity come in the form of flesh. He is a lunatic who believed that about himself even though it wasn't true, or he was an outright liar who claimed to be something that he knew he wasn't in an effort to deceive the masses. You can't say Jesus was just a good teacher, because that's not what he claimed. He claimed to be God. And throughout the course of John's gospel account, as Jesus repeatedly uses this simple expression, I am, he makes his claim to deity and in context after context after context offers proof of that claim. Jesus is the Son of God, the one who was with God before the beginning, who brought all things into being, and who sustains all things by the word of his power. Considering who he is, we need to ask ourselves whether or not we are submitting to him as we ought. Lord willing, over the course of the next several weeks, we'll look at the I am statements of Jesus that are contained in the Gospel of John. Examine the claims that Jesus made of himself and the proofs that he offered in the process. Thanks so much for watching, and we hope you'll continue to join us as we look at the I am statements of Jesus.